Growing up in East Flatbush could be very depressing at times. Growing up, there was always a bunch of garbage on the streets, like everywhere. We're talking about food wrappers, food, garbage bags, spit, a bunch of stuff. It was just nasty and horrible to be around. And then on top of that, there was homeless people everywhere. They were always digging through trash, making the trash scatter all over the place, making it worse. It was just not a very appealing place to grow up in. Hi, my name is Josh Williams and I'm a college student here at NYC. In this video, we are going to be investigating the trash buildup in NYC. New Yorkers produce almost 4 million tons of waste at home and another 4 million tons in offices and businesses each year. New York State residents generate over 4.5 pounds of trash per person per day. This trash travels to landfills or pollutes our streets and waterways. This is Willingboro, New Jersey. It's the complete opposite to NYC when it comes to cleanliness of the roads, as they strive to keep their roads clean. They always host weekly cleanups and beautification products to keep their neighborhood clean and presentable to the outside view. I was given the opportunity to interview an NYC sanitation department worker to get his first-hand experience on the problem in NYC.
Ready? Okay. So that's a great question. That is a great question, and that is a question that the city has been grappling with for decades. If you go back to the 1970s, with, for example, the Young Lords. The Young Lords were a group of community activists who did not believe that the trash was being picked up in a timely fashion. So what they did was they gathered a bunch of the trash in certain areas of the Bronx, and it brought such attention to the importance of the clean streets and how neglected certain areas of the city were, that the city was forced to improve the frequency of the trash pickups. So I just use that example to illustrate the fact that the more things change, the more they remain the same. So I wouldn't say that the city is neglecting the trash pickup. Unfortunately, the population in the city is growing. From my vantage point, I'm a sanitation worker. This is just my viewpoint from somebody on the streets who actually does the job, who actually picks up the garbage. In the last week alone, I've been in Brooklyn, Staten Island, and different parts of Queens. Just to give you an idea, so I do move around the city quite a bit. I think if you look around the city, you'll notice that there are a lot of development. Development in the city has been turbocharged from my point of view. So as a result of a lot of these new buildings and a lot of the new construction, that's increasing the density of the population. And so I do believe that the trash is actually building up faster than it has in the past. So I'm going to say I can't answer that question, and I'll tell you why. Because I think it depends on the area. You have areas, for example, in Southeast Queens and parts of Brooklyn. When I say Southeast Queens, I'm referring to areas like Rosedale, Laurelton, Cambria Heights, and parts of Brooklyn, for example, Park Slope, that have really embraced new initiatives that the city has put forth as far as composting. Composting is basically, in a nutshell, when you take a lot of your food waste and your garden clippings from when you cut your lawn, and you kind of put them out separately. And what the city does is they collect collect those materials, take it to special dumps, and what happens is they create compost. It's basically everything starts to decompose, and then you can use that to in your garden, for example. You can enrich the soil in your garden. So there are certain areas of the city, a lot of the residents in the city do a great job recycling and composting. However, you have areas of the city that absolutely horrible, do a horrible job as far as separating their garbage, doing a horrible job recycling, not using the proper receptacles. So I couldn't really give you a blanket answer, a general answer for the city. I would honestly say, again, from my experiences, working in different areas of the city, including Manhattan. Manhattan actually does a great job with the composting also. It depends on the area. It really depends on the area and the level of education. And what I mean by the level of education is I think the amount of community outreach that the city does seems to have an effect on whether or not people, the residents, the citizens, the denizens of New York, whether they recycle, compost, or throw away the trash in a respectable manner.
This problem will only get worse as time and time goes on. If people keep neglecting the trash on the streets and keep littering, it's just gonna cause even more problems like rat infestation, pollution, and that's all bad for the environment. And then NYC residents have to suffer because some people make mistakes and they don't care about them. It's not right and it's not fair to everyone else. Some NYC residents believe that they're not responsible for any of the trash that they throw out on the streets. They believe that the sanitation department should clean it up no matter what, so they could throw out whatever they have in their hands on the ground, even though there's a trash can nearby, and then they expect it not to be cleaned up by a sanitation department, even though they themselves can clean up themselves and put it in the trash can. They're neglecting their role as citizens, and they're being a nuisance to the whole community. Some people use the excuse and say that the city's already dirty, so it doesn't matter if they litter or not. But that's just not the case at all. Why would you litter if there's a garbage can right nearby? It doesn't take that much to walk to a garbage can and throw out your trash instead of throwing it on the ground to increase the trash buildup in the city. It's not right. And as a resident of the city you live in, you shouldn't want it to be dirty. You want it to be clean so you'll be happy about where you live. It's time for New Yorkers to change their ways and get it together. It's about time that we come together and start taking priority in the cleanliness of our streets. We should want our streets to look clean and presentable so we would all be happier and feel good about the city we live in. Thank you for listening, and I hope others pursue this topic as well.